Hello, this is the TradeSite Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, July 12th, ending Friday, the 17th of July. This is options expiration week already in July. Can you believe that? Here's a look at the dollar index. Didn't do a thing this last couple of weeks. Really been dead flat for a month, over a month, which is really disappointing to see, but it is what it is. And let's take a look at the major daily charts, and then we'll look at the intra-week action. So the euro dollar, as usual, the inverse of the dollar index, the pound dollar, pretty much just the same in cup that the euro's got. The Aussie dollar, all these have been really dead flat. Now, remember, Forex does tend to slow down in June, July, and August. This is kind of the signs of it. Usually picks up maybe late August. Euro yen moved a little bit late in the week. Pound yen did nothing at all. Pound Swiss did nothing at all. In the New Zealand dollar pair, dead flat, but it does have a 13 seeker sell signal on the New Zealand dollar pair. The first signal either way in over a year. All right, let's look at the intra-week action. 30-minute candles, high to low on the euro dollar for the week was only about 120 pips. So you got total range for the whole week, 120 pips. That's usually every day on the euro dollar. So that's very, very light. Pound dollar, a little bit better, but more like 200 pips. Not very interesting either. This one usually trades about 130 per day. So, the major moves were Wednesday to Thursday, and there was a move on Tuesday. All right, so the charts aren't showing us anything. There's no pattern setups. There's no signals. We can just move on to taking a look at the economic data, of which there's a decent amount this week. We've got, like I said, options expiration Friday, but Sunday, FPI out of New Zealand, tertiary industry activity out of Japan, German WPI got a federal budget balance at 2 p.m. Eastern Time from here in the U.S. on Monday. Visitor arrivals out of New Zealand Monday night. BRC retail sales monitor out of the UK. NAB business confidence number out of Australia. Trade balance out of China. Japan's revised industrial production. German final CPI. GDP, construction output, goods trade balance, index of services, industrial production, manufacturing production. That's all UK at 2 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. PPI out of Switzerland, industrial production here in the U.S. Zoo economic sentiment here in Europe. Sorry, economic industrial production in Europe. NFIB small business index here in the U.S. at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Then we get the CPI here in the U.S. That's one of our big three each month, so we'll be half size ahead of Tuesday. Westpac consumer sentiment out of Australia. Bank of Japan has their rate announcement going into Wednesday. UK has their CPI, PPI, and RPI numbers, and then that's at 2 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. The housing price index out of the UK, German 10-year bond auction, Canada's manufacturing sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index, import-export prices here in the U.S., capacity utilization and industrial production, Bank of Canada's rate announcement at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. I got the beige book at 2 here. I got the CPI out of New Zealand, MI inflation expectations out of Australia, employment change and unemployment rate out of Australia at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday night. GDP and industrial production, retail sales, and the unemployment rate out of China at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Going into Thursday, UK has the unemployment rate at 2 a.m. French, remember these are all Eastern Time. French final CPI, Italian trade balance out of Europe, 5 a.m. Main monetary policy statement out of the ECB at 7:45 a.m. Canada's got their ADP non-farm employment change. The press conference out in Europe, then the retail sales number out of the U.S. along with Philly Fed manufacturing index and the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers. Business inventories here in the U.S., NAHB housing market index here in the U.S. We've got natty gas here in the U.S., tick long-term purchases at the stock market close here in the U.S. New Zealand's business manufacturing index, final CPI out of Europe, wholesale sales out of Canada, housing starts and building permits here in the U.S. at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, and then University of Michigan sentiment at 10, and that will wrap up the week. Not expecting much because Forex is slow right now, but we'll still see if we can pull something out. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week in Forex.